Hey guys, I want to take this moment before we roll into this to give a special shout out of love and condolences, because it saddens me to say that we've lost one of our bitch badge holders, our loyal female listeners. I was contacted over the course of a couple of days ago by our girl Shannon Moore's roommate. You may have heard me mention her name before. I say our white girl Shannon, who recently, I was told, passed away from complications with diabetes. She came to Andy and I's show in Indianapolis, and she would always hit me up on Instagram in my DMs and just, communicate with me and let me know how much she loved the show. And her roommate said that it meant everything to her. To all our other bitch badge holders, CC, Deidre Ann Johnson, the new one, Alexa Flowers, of course, Shamora, Thera, A.B., B. Jackson, J.V. Hunt. Those are the ones that I know immediately off the top of my dome, and to any I might be forgetting or not mentioning. Much love to all you ladies. I adore all of you. We adore all of you. And you guys have been holding us down while we try to continue to grow with new female listeners. But much love to you, Shannon. Love you, baby. Rest in peace. Miss you, girl.
Yeah, I think you covered it all. I just want to say that, man, she used to send me a lot of, messages on Instagram. And I'm always happy I answered those messages. But sometimes in our day, we're busy. And I just never thought about until you told me what happened. I was like, sometimes you take for granted that someone's taking their time out to send you a message. And I just want to say that, man, be aware of the people around you. You never know what they're going through. I wish I would have even spent more time on some of those messages now. So, I'll miss you. And just love, man.
Sorry, Cole, she almost had him. But fuck that.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way, Cole.
Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy. Chewing the jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Got a couple things we want to cover today. One of the things that I'm so excited about that we're going to talk about today, because well, let me just say this. I can't remember who it was. I thought it was my dude who goes under the name Chicos Loves Papi, my Spanish dude. Hey, Papi, who told me about this show. I thought it was him, but I hit him up and he said it wasn't. But I do remember there were a couple people that wrote into us to tell us about Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner. Boy, oh boy, fucking thank you. And I had it on my to-watch, must-do list.
Yeah.
But I just never, like anything else, you're busy with other shit, and you'll eventually get around to it. So one day I'm home in bed at night, and I'm just going, you know what? Fuck it, let me check this shit out. Man, I finished that motherfucking bag in 48 hours. That first episode, I was like, yo, man, food served hot and ready. It was like it was a two of everything. 2 Salisbury steaks, 2 mashed potatoes, 2 apple desserts. This motherfucker, and I remember I was watching it, and I texted Andy and I said, yo, Andy, with the flame emojis, this shit is fire. And he said, okay, I'll check it out. And there was another point where towards the end, I watched, and I sat, and I told Andy this in the green room here in OKC, but I sat in my bed and I went towards the finale. If Andy don't like this shit, I don't know this nigga. I do not know him as well as I thought. This had so much of what Andy's already talked about, nigga, the prison shit, the violence. I said, if Andy don't like this, I don't know this man, yo. And he loved it.
I didn't get into it as quick as you did. I thought the first 2 episodes were good. Like they got me interested. Like, but I could have gone off the path of not finished it. I mean, I would have wondered. I would have eventually got to it because it was good. It just yeah, it's good. But I was suspect on the writing because it seemed like it was leading me to like an obvious path.
Right.
And then by the 3rd episode, that path is long gone. And I'm like, okay. And then I started watching. I watched as much as I could that day. And then I had some stuff to do. And then I watched almost to the end. And then I got here and I finished it up. And it is.
He ate the whole bag.
Dude, I said I don't always agree with Aries. I do think that, some things are to be sipped. They should be enjoyed slowly. You should appreciate the artistry that's going into them. You should be able to kick back and enjoy. And I called him or he called me, and I had just finished watching. I go, now that's a bag of chips, man. You got to from beginning to end. Like I could sit down and watch that thing again because it was so good. And there is an episode I'm going to rewatch because I told Aries I'm here in OKC, and someone gave me a gummy. And I came back to the room and had the gummy and started watching it. And I'd say probably about halfway through, I started feeling good.
Yeah.
And I've been paying attention, but still, I don't know how much I really retained.
So we're going to get into that. That's probably the meat of what we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, we also want to talk about, because I know somebody wrote into me about the Ricky Gervais special. And of course, the uproar from the said pronoun group, from the pronoun posse. The pronoun posse with the pussies. I like that, the triple P's.
Or without.
The pronoun posse without the pussies. Anyway, and we're also going to mention this Jada Pinkett shit and some Monique and DL Hewley. Which one you want to start with first? Let's get that. Let's do the Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, might as well.
All right, here we go. Danny Glover neck roll. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, Andy. And I feel like I've been, I don't want to use the word hiding. I definitely don't want to use the word fake. Maybe pretending. I'm really starting to hate this fucking group. And they're making me sick. And let me put some context to this. And let me preface it by saying what I always say. No one is condoning any kind of violence. And people should be free to live their lives equally and fairly under the eyes and the laws that prevail this great country and the eyes of God, because we're all his children, blah, 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 blah. But the amount of hypocrisy that comes from this community and bullshit is starting to suffocate me. Because it's like, I remember when the shit popped off with the dude that rushed the stage with Dave, and me and you talked about this. I said it in my post, I'm not saying this is what it was. I need more context. I need to learn more. And I remember I told you, some people hit me back and said, oh, why are you going to assume that the LGBTQ community, had anything to do with Dave? I said I didn't. I said something tells me it is, but I need more context. Come to find out, recently, it was said that the dude, to his own admission, rushed Dave because he was upset with his jokes, as he is a part of that community. Where was the uproar from that community condemning him? And again, I get it. There's been a rise, or the numbers have always shown that transgender people, come into harm and physical violence and oftentimes murder. And I'm not condoning any of that. We all know that's wrong. But this thing where there's such a, you got to bring the noise both ways. And you got to condemn that dude the same way you would want to condemn anybody that harms your community. And between that and the bullshit with the jokes, I'm going to let you go, Andy, because I don't want to go get too long-winded. But I got a problem with this community, man.
I'm not disagreeing with anything that you just said. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that because I don't think it's the whole group. I think it's a smaller part of a vocal part of the group. But again, I think Gervais hit it really well when he said, "Yeah, you want to be treated equally. So this is his form of equal. There's no one that he is off the list." And I don't understand if you are a being and you want that equality. Every one of us
A being, you said?
a being,
Okay.
like a human being.
I thought you said being. Like
Yeah,
you
sure.
shit you eat, but being.
A human being. And you're talking about the equality that comes with being that. We all get joked on. We all make fun of, and there's nothing in there. I watched the special, and I guess I'll put this question to you this way. I watched it twice, and I watched it the first time to see what, and then the backlash came out, and I watched it again and to see what was harmful. And if you think, I don't understand that even mentioning it in a funny way is what we do and what comedians do so that we can talk about things that are difficult subjects sometimes to broach is to make them funny so that we can have the conversation, so that we can open up doors to actual conversations, not being told what it is, a conversation, because that's how people grow and learn is through conversation, through meaningful conversation. So I watched it then the second time, and I can't think of anything in there that was harmful. I can see, like, okay, yeah, you might have been the butt of the joke, but was it harmful? Did you see anything that was harmful that you felt was going?
Absolutely not. What I loved about it is he's pointing out the absurdity of it.
The hypocrisy.
And when he said, the thing about, something about the old-fashioned women, the ones with wombs. And then he said, those fucking dinosaurs versus these new women with beards and cocks. And then he went on to say, in terms of pronoun, his penis versus her penis. What if he rapes me? What if she rapes me? And my thing is this, man. Again, if we're being honest in this such a hard to have conversation, what it boils down to for some people, myself included, is comfortability. What you're comfortable with. Listen, I have hung out in groups with gay men. I have hung out in groups with gay women. Oftentimes when the shows are over, excuse me, and I'm kicking it with the staff. And, server might be gay dude, server might be a gay woman, but we all kicking it, drinking, smoking, laughing. I don't have a problem with that. Whatever. Gay man, I might not agree with the lifestyle, but that's neither here nor there. That's my personal opinion. But, I don't have a problem with that. I can accept that for what it is. I'm uncomfortable being around a guy that calls himself a woman that has a cock. Or even if you didn't have a cock. I can't comfortably call you what you want me to call you. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Because I'm sorry, but the love and amount of respect that I have for women and what y'all go through, mind, body, and soul, I'm uncomfortable with being able to do that and refer to you as that when my principles are such. I think it's absurd. And again, I'm not talking about violence. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not promoting unequal rights, unfair treatment. All of that should be bestowed upon all of us. But I'm just not comfortable with it, man. And I have the right to feel uncomfortable for whatever reason or whatever things I think. I have that right as long as my rights and feelings aren't hurting you or aren't taking anything away from you. I have that right. And I just think it's absurd. I think that whole notion is absurd. I think it's absurd. You want me to call you a woman and you have a dick, or you got your dick chopped off. I don't see you as a woman. I don't see you as that.
But what if you didn't notice? What if you didn't notice? If they had it all done, they got everything done right, and you didn't notice, and whether they have a dick or don't have a dick, you don't see that.
I have an X-Men power, a gene, in which I'm able to know. My spider sense, my tingling, I have an X-Men gene where I know it. I know. I feel it. I know it. Can't fool me.
I'll be honest. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem. If you want to be called a her or a they or them, whatever the pronoun is, and you look at me and you go, hey, this is the pronoun I use. I'm all for being respectful to what you need. I am. I really am.
Do you think that I'm being disrespectful by not feeling comfortable? Like if you're a transgender man that's now a woman and you want me to go she or her, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. So rather than disrespect you by refusing to call you that, I just remove myself from the situation.
That's up to you, and you're allowed to do that.
Okay.
I think you're allowed to do that. I do think you're allowed to do that. And I think that's actually, depending on the situation, I mean, yeah, that would almost be respectful because you're not doing anything to demean. You're just saying, this isn't the situation I appreciate. I'm going to move myself out of the situation for the betterment of both of us. But what I'm saying is I wouldn't care if that's what you want to do. I really don't. But that isn't the group that I run in. So here's what I meant by that. If I call you an improper pronoun, and I don't know what your pronoun is, though, relax. Give me the time to catch up to you and let me know what it is, and then I'll do my best to be to help you and help me come to an understanding. That's fine. But what I've seen is that there isn't that moment. It's just this very like you are a horrible person. You didn't give me but I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know what you're up to. I really don't.
I like that. I don't know what you're up to.
I don't know what you're up to.
See, that to me is an honest response. Now, I can tell you this. I think a lot of people in that community would either ridicule you or be so offended at the idea that you would say that. Like, what do you think we could be up to? What do you think we're being sneaky and we're trying to fool you and we're trying to take advantage of you and be slick? I could hear them taking offense to that.
And I'm fine with anybody taking offense to it if that's what they want to say. And my response to you would be, well, just because you identify that way and you feel comfortable that way and you feel you look in a way that should be represented, but I didn't see that ain't my fault. That's not my fault. And for all I know, then if I see someone who looks, who might look male, but is obviously looking very feminine, and I automatically assume that's their ish where they're at, I'm wrong for assuming that too. So help me if that's the situation. Talk to me, have a conversation. I don't think anybody should be opposed to a conversation, and we work it out. But I don't like how it's cut and dry. And then I don't like that humor isn't part of our makeup. Our makeup as human beings is to be. We make fun of people that don't have fun, that don't have a humorous part of their personality. We make fun of people that are always serious and off. If you can't use this, we've used it for religion. We've used it for race. We use it for everything. So why wouldn't it be used here at this time? I don't understand it.
I saw Pierce Morgan. He interviewed in regards to Ricky. He interviewed a transgender Black man that went from man to woman, and somebody wrote in the comment section, and he actually did look like Jordan Peele in drag. The dude looked like Jordan Peele. But he interviewed a transgender man, and then I don't know this other guy's name, but he's a gay guy who's big in the fashion world, who's always on Bill Maher. And when he asked the transgender man about Ricky Gervais and the material, it's just this smug attitude, and he just went, it just wasn't funny. And he literally said it with that face and that tone and that attitude. Well, it just wasn't funny. And what Ricky said, say it's not funny to you. Say you didn't find it funny. But I hate this thing where some of the people in that community say it like they're, and I have a problem with anybody that does this. Straight, gay, not transgender, non-trans. Stop stating your opinion like it's law. Stop saying it like it's a fact. Well, it just wasn't funny. Say it wasn't funny to me. I didn't find it funny. Because for you to say it's not funny is ridiculous, where when you look at the special, the people are laughing their asses off. And I gotta believe that part of the reason why those people are laughing is not just to go, or because they just wanna go, ha ha, we wanna make fun of you. I think they're laughing because they see the absurdity in it. It's absurd to some people. Let me take a page from my book and not say it like it's law. To some people, it's absurd.
I think that if you just, no matter what side you're on this argument, if you step back an inch or two and just take a look at what's being said, you do see some of the sign, and you understand the reason why, what conversation needs to be had. But I don't want to spend a whole hour talking about this. I just think that humor opens up the door to conversation of subjects that are sometimes uncomfortable. And if you don't allow
I feel like you're uncomfortable right now.
No.
You're not?
No.
Because when you go, you've said that before where you go, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking. And you know we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking.
I know, but I
feel, and I'm wrong, obviously, but I feel like I can feel you're uncomfortable.
No, I just don't want to spend, we have so many other things to talk about, and we have talked about this. And it goes back to my point about comedy, period. Not even take this topic out, take race out, take whatever it is. Comedy to me is, and I said this on stage, you're supposed to be able to take up and shake up things that are that aren't being talked about correctly, or not being able to be open to talk about. Shake that shit up, throw it out there. We lay it out in a different way so we can have the conversation, no matter what it's about. That's what comedy's supposed to get us, because all conversations, when you come from a place of not understanding or not even being communicative, I think I'm saying that wrong. To be able to communicate the subject, comedy opens up the door for those conversations. So again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself. That's why I said I don't want to spend it.
I'm gonna just say this, and then I'm done. You know, I kind of always feel like the same way I would say white comics are bigger on self-deprecating humor than black comics. I think that white guys do sarcasm. That's another thing. White guys do sarcasm comedically more than black guys do. And as I'm watching him, I'm trying to pinpoint what it is. I'm like, is it sarcasm? Obviously, he's pointing out the absurdity of it, but some of the way he would deliver those punchlines, like, you know, the way he threw it away. Not like the old women, the ones with wombs. Those are dinosaurs. So I'm like, he's being sarcastic, but there's something in that where it feels like, obviously, he's saying something true. He's hitting a note. There's something connecting with people where they're going, that's making them laugh at that. So, you know.
It's about also comic recognizes existence. You know, if you don't take that comedy to recognize the existence of a trans and maybe even the absurdity, like you just said, without that, it doesn't bring people into the conversation to go, okay, yeah, I saw it this way before, but you know, all right. Let's have the conversation. And again, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but that is how I feel about it. And I'm more offended about comedy than I'm offended about who anyone is. I know that sounds terrible, but I don't care if this is a race issue. I don't care if this is a lifestyle, whatever, however you want to look at this. Comedy cannot have restraints on it. And I know people are saying, well, it hurts people. Well, when Ricky Gervais went in and did I forgot what it was, Golden Globe Awards or whatever, and he was making fun of the fact that a lot of the people who are in the audience that speak up on all these issues, and they're the ones working for people that are known now as some of the worst people in the industry. He gave that to them. Yeah. They had to own that.
Right.
That's what comedy does, is allow you to say it. And those people had to go, yeah, well, you know, what am I supposed to do now? That's what am I saying? And they didn't give big laughs. And some of them felt
uncomfortable as hell.
And some of them felt the same way. It just wasn't funny.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But it is funny to the other people who can see the hypocrisy. You got to take a step back. That's my point.
Monique and DL.
You know, I didn't follow that very well because I just been reading about it.
Did you see
I didn't see the videos.
Not at all?
No, I just read the articles, but I didn't see the videos.
You know what it was about though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, man. And I can understand a little bit how certain people feel in regards to Monique. I've always said this. There is a poetry to comedy. And again, when I bring up names like Carmichael, Chappelle, Smooth Jazz, on a rougher, harder, edgier note. Patrice, and Eddie Griffin, Richard Pryor. When I hear those guys curse, I don't hear curses. I hear music. I hear poetry. It flows. It feels right. There's a rhythm.
The rhythm of the night.
Rhythm of the... What made you think of that?
Because of the way you said rhythm and the flow and the poetry.
Or to the beat of the rhythm of the night, dancing to the morning light.
But everything, but that ties in because it just, as goofy as it is, even in the horrible voice that I have,
Right.
you get it. You get what you're saying.
Yeah.
There is a rhythm.
There's a rhythm to
and
it.
you heard what I said, even though it didn't sound anything like the song, because there's a rhythm to it.
Right.
Okay. Even if I can't bring that rhythm, there's a rhythm to it.
I've said this. When Monique curses, I hear curses. You know, and God, I hate to say this, but she comes off, especially in this moment, especially when you see the video of her cursing DL out on stage, as a fat, black, loud bitch. And it's just, it pisses me off. Let me tell you about the motherfucking contract, motherfucking babies. I'm the motherfucking headliner, this motherfucker. That to me ain't funny. And I hear cursing. I don't hear the poetry. I don't hear the comedy. And it's just like, okay, clearly there's some ego involved because it's like, all right, she said, I've been doing comedy this motherfucking long. I don't fucking follow nobody, baby. And listen, I've done those shows where the list is 5 comics and there has to be a headliner. Sometimes I've headlined, other times I didn't. In terms of the time, okay, the headliner might be doing 40. Everybody else is doing 30. 10 extra minutes. To me, I don't give a shit. On those concerts, I would rather go up earlier than later. Because motherfuckers get tired. There's the drinks. They got to do the intermission. And that's the worst spot is the after the intermission. Because people are still filing back in. It's like, you know, when you open, you got to battle noise and movement. I would rather on those shows go up like second. The host, someone else, then me. I've done those concerts where I've headlined. I don't like them. I'll do it. But it's like at that point, they've heard everything. So it's just... So I can't help but believe that part of this is ego-driven. And for a lot of those shows, you pretty much all getting paid the same thing. So I'm just going, if it ain't about the money, that position really meant that much to you that you had to go last? And my biggest issue was you coming out on stage blasting DL in front of the crowd. What did you think that was going to do? Fuck up his set? He's a fan favorite too. And when he came out, they just as equally. What was the point of that? Like if you, whatever grievance she had with DL, yo, you couldn't do that behind stage? You couldn't work that out later? You had to go on stage and call him a bitch and call him a nigga and say his wife sucks the dick of a coward? Nah, yo. Nah. It's too much.
DL, I thought response... from what I've read, was good response. He didn't get caught up in it like she did.
No, look, but for whatever reason, one would go, you don't have to prove anything. But
Right.
for whatever reason, he posted the contract and where it was written, such and such and such and such. So he responded, obviously, but he didn't have to.
No. Well, there's 2 things for me on this. One is, well, you know, when you know the Kings of Comedy, when they would rotate the headliners because they couldn't always headline, and they all had stuff that they wanted to do, and they were cool. They understood it. This is about communication, talking, respect for each other.
Right.
That seemed to be going out the window. The respect, the communication,
Right.
on this particular incident. But the other thing is, and you see it in movies all the time, and I hate to say this, but when you have the power, when you are the strongest, when you are the one, you don't have to say anything. She had to tell everybody that she was the one. And by the fact that you have to tell everybody that you're the one, you're not the one.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say anything about her, but this is the only thing I'll say. This isn't the first time that she's had issues.
Listen, when DL said You know, Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lee Daniels, Steve Harvey. Who else did he say? Someone else. And now it's my turn. At some point, it's you.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Oprah, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hewley. Like, you've had a problem with 5 or 6 different people. Is it them or is it you?
Well, that's why I probably didn't do as much.
And it almost pains me to say that because I'm going, nigga, I got a problem with a lot of motherfuckers. So is it them? And I know sometimes it's been me.
But you've admitted it.
But a lot of times it hasn't been me.
But you admit it when it's you. You've said it. Listen, you can win whatever amount of awards you want to win. It doesn't change who you are.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that there's a lot of people that have won Oscars and aren't the star of the next movie that they're in. It works out that way. But the people who accept that there's other people in this business and allow them to shine as well brings the shine back to you.
I never understood why she felt the need to call Steve Harvey a coon. When Steve just simply, in the most respectful manner, was trying to school her on maybe what not to do versus what to do. I saw that interview. It was very respectful. He didn't demean her in any way. And if she was going to call him a coon, why not call him a coon to his face on the show? Why you wait till after it was over?
I have no idea. It's one that it's puzzling, and she has to. She's accomplished, so I can't speak on her. I can only say the little bit that I know, and when your opportunities sometimes, and I'm not saying you have to dance for anybody, but your opportunities come a lot of times because people like you.
That's a key part right there. Liking you.
Yeah, it's so important. If you're liked and you're easy to work with and people want you around, it makes it so much easier.
And again, they'll take someone less talented that's more likable than the other way around.
Always, because they can cut, they can edit, they can change, they can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
I'm going to hold it because there was something we're going to talk about in the future, the offer. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in there that I'm going to remember this moment. I'm going to write it down so that I bring us back to this moment when we talk about that series, because there's a scene in there that explains what I'm trying to say.
I mean, even I read this morning where even DL's daughter sent her a message. Did you see that one?
Uh-uh.
And she just was basically saying, look, you say what you say about my dad, that's one thing. But when you disrespect my mom by saying she's sucking the dick of a coward, and you disrespect me, who has nothing to do with it, and it was very classy and very telling that a teenager is telling you how to behave, what's morally right. Okay.
But ego is the thing that gets most people in trouble. Right. Ego is the thing that we surrender ourselves to a lot of times that puts us in a bad place, because your ego doesn't have a mute button or a nice button. Your ego is probably the worst part of all of us, but it's also necessary for us to get through the day. So it's the balance.
Right. We're talking about Mayor Kingstown.
Yeah. What else do we have? You didn't want to just mention the thing about Jada?
Yeah, I'm so over Jada.
I just thought it was telling how she didn't. There was no wish it could have happened differently. And maybe it would have put too much pressure on her to say something like that. But to put it on, we need these two men right now. Hopefully they can work. This was all on them. It had nothing to do with her whatsoever.
She threw a grenade in the house, and after it exploded, said, "Who gonna clean this shit up?"
It's exactly what it felt like after I watched it.
I just, and to me, listen, again, at the end of the day, we don't all know the ins and outs of one's private relationship. But if what I've seen from the outside looking in is even an ounce of truth to it, again, I'm just going, sweetheart, everybody from a different world has pretty much, Cree Summer's always been big in voiceover work. And I'm sure some of them have worked here and there and done plays or whatever else they've done. But you've been the one to come out of there the most, I don't want to use, I hate the word relevant. Like, I don't want to say anybody's, because the opposite of that is irrelevant. I don't want to paint anybody irrelevant. But you seem to be the one that's most front and center.
Had the most momentum.
The most momentum and staying out there. And let's be honest, that's because you married the winning lotto ticket. Your husband is Will fucking Smith. And again, his reign during the 90s and early 2000s was untouchable. I remember when I saw it on on that CNN thing about movies of of certain decades, and they were talking about the 90s. Other studios would move their release dates for movies when Will Smith's movies would come out, because they knew that was he had it. He was going to be the box office champ. So they would reschedule around him. He was that dude. He's not as hot as he once was, but he's still that dude. And, you know, between the Hawthorne show she did on TNT, where she played a doctor, to being in the Matrix movies, to, you know, her Metallica group she had at one point. Like, your husband has given you access to shit that I don't think she normally would have had without him. And this is what you do with it? That's crazy.
Well, the other last thing I was going to say, and listen, I'm not here to make fun of anybody's looks. I know I ain't any prize when it comes to the looks here. So, but you have a lot of money. You have a videographer. You have people in your site. No one told you that when you wore that big white sweater that you were just going to look like a giant head that was on a pillow, and then you're going to have a serious conversation like that. It's not one part. This is telling to me too, in a way. Who are you that not one person said, hey, you want to reconsider that sweater you're going to wear on this?
All they thought about was Will in their head. Keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth.
Someone should have told her. You look like a giant. You look like a head on a pillow.
Listen, man. I just, you know, and incidentally, when I flew from LA to Phoenix to come here, I was on a plane with Tony Rock. Saw each other, dapped each other up.
I love Tony, man. He's a real cool dude.
Yeah, funny guy. So yeah, man, I just, you know, like, you started this, sweetie. You started this. So.
All right.
Mayor Kingstown. Can you hear the bag of chips opening? First of all, where is this set? The whole time I'm going, where the fuck is it supposed to be set?
They said it. It's a city that has 7 prisons. It's basically a city that's based around the prisons. I don't remember the name.
But I'm going, is this in
it's
Boston?
Kingstown. It's Kingstown. Where is that?
Is that a real place?
I don't know. I did not even care about. They set it up nicely. They let you know where you're going to be. You're in this area. It has a lot of prisons.
Right.
These prisons for profit.
Okay. And dude, I always said I wasn't the biggest Jeremy Renner fan. You know, part of what left a bad taste in my mouth, and you know, I'm a stickler for not changing, was when he replaced Matt Damon in the Bourne series. I was like, nah, you can't do that. That's the guy. And then he was kind of like people have made jokes about it, but he was the weakest Avenger.
Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a real place?
Yeah, well, that's where it's based. That's what it says.
Okay. He was the weakest Avenger. But then I forgot how much I loved him in The Town. But in this, man, I'm a fan, man. I am a Jeremy Renner fan, man.
Well, he was on that Disney. Disney had his Avengers character.
Yeah, and I tried to watch that. And
I liked it.
Did you?
Yeah,
I was done after 2 episodes.
I liked all those Disney things. But what I was going to say is that Jeremy Renner, I like him. I really love him in this.
Right.
But when I was watching, he kind of reminded me of a American version of Daniel Craig. You know, a little puffier.
Yeah.
But that Daniel Craig kind of that rough
exterior. Yeah. Well, you know, the thing with Daniel Craig and him, particularly when you talk about Daniel Craig, you know, Bond had and that was some of the controversy surrounding them hiring Daniel Craig. Because, you know, James Bond, he was a smooth,
right,
you know, charismatic, easy on the eye. Like Sean Connery was the dude. And then you had Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, George Lazenby, eventually Pierce Brosnan. All of them had that suave, cool James Bond, that smoothness,
A dapperness.
Daniel was a little rougher on the eyes, but he was kick-ass.
But man, he was
a man. And Renner to me has that.
Yeah.
He's not Matt Damon smooth. He's a little rougher on the edges, but that gritty manness, he's got that, dude.
Where you can really believe that's...
Yes.
Yeah. That's what makes Craig work, because you can believe that's a guy who could go through that. And this is what makes Jeremy Renner.
Here's what got me, dude. And I always say part of great man food movies and TV is give me what I want. Don't shortchange me on shit. Don't give me more salad than you do beef. You know, give me the salad, give me the veggies, but goddamn it, give me the beef. Dude, when that Mexican dude fucking raped and killed the girl, I was like, damn, okay. And then he shot my man. And again, sometimes here how I know something's gonna be good, depending on the actors in it. The guy who played Mitch, his brother, who got shot in the head, he was the fucking FBI agent from the Martin Scorsese Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
That dude's a solid actor,
No, he's
man.
good.
So when they killed him, I was like, oh shit. Then the fucking cops go to get the guy who's in the house. And unbeknownst to the guy, he doesn't know the cops and the whole fucking force is out there. Jeremy drives up and they basically tell him, look, man, you can't get involved. We got to do this by the book. I know he killed your brother. And Jeremy is telling him, if that guy gets out of this fucking house, the system is going to blah, 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 blah. We'll take care of it. When the fucking cops bust in and the dude is startled, he's sitting on the couch smoking weed, and they tell him, grab the gun. No. Not by the muzzle, by the handle. They said, now slowly put the gun up in the air. All right, now move it towards us. And once he pointed at the cops, the guy goes, thank you. Pop, 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 pop. And they lit that motherfucker up. I went, yes, this is man shit. And I gotta say, I put in my notes, here's the scary part, man. Yo, the cops can really do what the fuck they want. If they want to frame you to kill you, frame you so you go to jail, beat you up, they can get away with it. That is so scary.
Kind of, they can get away with it. I mean, there's someone there who might not be for it and could turn them in, or there could be a journalist who catches a glimpse of it and turns them in.
But you got to catch that.
Yeah, and when it's a town that's based around this, and that's the thing about this, it basically explains the mayor of Kingstown. This town is based around this level of interaction. So, yeah, in that situation.
But let me ask you something. So even if they told the guy, if they didn't go in there and tell the guy, pick the gun up, bada do, point it to us, now we can shoot you. If they just busted in there and shot him, what difference did it make him picking up the gun versus let's just shoot the motherfucker?
It doesn't, because we've seen that many times. If someone has any access to a gun, you've seen it many times. Now, let's be a little honest. It happens more if it's a black dude who has a lot of guns around him. But this was a Hispanic dude. I would have followed. It would have followed suit. So yeah, they could have said
same type of nigga, just eats different beans.
Yeah, because he jumped up and went to go grab the gun. So at that moment, when he first,
he didn't even. No, he didn't try to grab it. He was startled.
He was startled, but the gun was right there. Anyway.
Right, it was right there, but he didn't try to grab it.
But
though.
it was in proximity where he could have grabbed it. So they could have.
Right.
And he already has killed and raped and killed a woman with a gun.
And shot a cop.
Yeah. So
no. Dude wasn't a cop, was he?
No,
Mitch?
He was not a cop.
He's the mayor of.
He's the what do they call him at the end when they call Jerry? He's the prisoner's advocate.
Right.
The other guy you're talking about is Kyle Martin Chandler.
Okay.
That's the other dude. And listen, that's what kind of threw me off at the very beginning, where I was like, I want to like it, because you're right, it brought everything, but I like that dude as an actor. When they got rid of him, at first I was into it because I thought he was going to be a major part of the movie.
That's what I went, damn, they killed him off in the first episode.
So that got me bugging a little bit. But like I said, well, let me watch the second one, because this did have, it has the quality in there, but I was like, but they kill that guy. They set it up. I was like, this seems like it's going to be every other show. Like,
right.
I'm going to be able to predict everything that they're going to do. And then the second episode happens.
Well, before we jump on the second episode, two things. One, what I really loved was, one, they killed the guy that killed Mitch.
Yeah.
But then two, Like Mitch, and they set this up from the very beginning. It's almost like you go to Mitch with your problem, and he's the guy that can solve it. So towards the end, when the Hispanic lady comes to Jeremy talking about, please help me, I got this problem. And Jeremy's other brother is like, nope, we don't do that. We're not getting involved with that. Sorry, ma'am, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. And Renner even says, nah, I can't help you, ma'am. But then she's just pleading and crying and begging. So he just takes a beat and it sinks in and he goes, tell me what your problem is. Credits.
Yeah.
So like he's taking over where Mitch left off. And that's when I knew, I said, this about to be fire.
And what's kind of cool about it too, going back to what we were saying about when you were talking about Bond and how he used to be more of a slick character.
Mm-hmm. Dapper was a good word.
This is the same thing because his brother is the dapper character. He's a little bit better dressed. He looks nice.
Right.
He has he speaks more eloquently. He massages the problem.
Right.
He gets it fixed. And the Jeremy Renner character is I go in, I bust walls, and I get shit done. And that's what they set up at the beginning. And you know, as cool as it was, I didn't realize that's what they were setting up. But once you get into it, that is exactly what they set up.
Dude, I noticed on the credits, produced by Antoine Fuqua. You know who he is? And this is why I'm saying, and I was going to ask you this. Doesn't that feel like you go to Jeremy Renner's brother's Mitch for your problems, he solves it. Now you go to Jeremy for your problems, he solves it. A little Equalizer-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Antoine Fuqua is the producer of Equalizers.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help it because this feels a little Equalizer. Like you go to Jeremy and he solves your problems.
Well, and you saw Jeremy Renner is one of the producers too.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeremy's making money now.
Yeah. Episode 2. Is this the one with the kid?
No, 3's the one.
It's kid. Okay, episode 2. Go ahead. You have anything?
No, you go ahead because I like how I like your notes, man.
Well, the woman that at the end of 1 that's begging Jeremy to get involved, I guess it was she had a family member who killed a kid in a drive-by, and he was being executed by lethal injection. And they go in to watch the lethal injection, and it's her family, the victim's family, plus the guy that's being killed for doing the crime. And, you know, it amazes me how, I'm sorry, and I know there are people that'll go, you know, an eye for an eye doesn't solve anything. It's not going to bring your loved one back. But this thing where you try to milk me to feel sympathetic for the person responsible as opposed to the victims. Like I don't understand how, you're never going to get me to do that. Like this thing where they're showing the mom cry as she's watching her son be put to sleep with the lethal injection, and they're holding hands with the daughter and they're just sobbing and and on the other side is the victim's family, the kin to the little girl that guy killed in the drive-by. I'm sorry, I don't feel sympathy for your family.
For which one?
The victims.
You don't feel
not the victims.
Okay.
The you know.
Yeah. For the perpetrators.
The perpetrator. I'm sorry. No.
You know, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for it depends, man. Like if you could see how the perpetrator got into this situation, but I feel sorry for the family because they're still losing a loved one.
Okay, but he did that.
Yeah, he
killed a little girl.
No, I understand that, but the family didn't have anything to do with it. And I mean, I wish, you wish for people that life could be better, but life isn't always better. So that's all. I'm not saying that you should feel sympathy, but you feel bad for the family. They didn't do it. They would wish that their kid wouldn't be that kid.
Right.
And they still have to watch him be put to death. That's still a lot for the family. Not saying that you should sympathize, the sympathy or I feel the empathy for the family for the pain that they have to go through now, because it doesn't change it. That he killed that kid. You're looking at the family of the kid. You know why you're there, but, and you're there because of what happened. So, I mean, I feel empathy for them, but for the family that has to go through this. But this is the one thing, and I'm going to do this a little quickly because we're not going to get into it later. This is the one problem I had with this show. The only problem that I really, really have with this show is that there's 2 people that are being put to death through this series. We don't knock people off that quick anymore. And in Texas is usually the place they knock them off. And it doesn't always have to be realistic.
But you know that there's TV. You
It's TV, and they have to speed it up. But they really sped it up. They were like, we're doing these two at a time today. Take them out.
Right.
But that was the only comment that I had, because I don't know that they had to do it that way to make this work. But whatever.
Could you think you would have the stomach for attending an execution?
No, I heard how they kind of portrayed it is a little bit more. They said that there's no pain, but it paralyzes you. You're supposed to be able to
fall asleep first, and then they do the one where your heart stops.
But you still feel the pain, is what I was told.
Really?
Yeah, because so they don't
put you to sleep like what do they call it? Anesthesia?
Yeah, no, you're not asleep. That stuff paralyzes you. So those little movements or anything that happens, you still feel it. That's what they also say. I don't know if you were going to take me out, I would like it to be like I would want a firing squad. Just it would be very nerve-wracking.
So between lethal injection, firing squad, electrocution, hanging, which one do you think would be hardest for you to watch?
Ooh, I think the hanging might be really. Yeah, because they say that you don't choke to death; it breaks your neck. So you could watch someone's neck grow. I think that might be
right.
But they have that hood over them.
Right.
I think the electrocution, though.
I heard the shit comes out of your eyes.
Yeah.
Oof.
I don't really want to sign up to go to any of them, to be honest. There's nothing in there that I need to see. It's nah.
Do you think that the families that go to see the perpetrators get executed, do you think they do it because it really brings them closure, or they just want to see the motherfucker suffer?
I think they're looking for closure. My understanding from the little bit I've read, and I haven't read very much, I guess the hardest part for the families that were the victim side of the family.
Right.
They're looking for closure. And then I heard once they watch those, most of them don't get closure from it because it just saw a horrible action. Even though that's the person that did that to your kid. Some people get it. I'm sure that they get it. Yeah, that motherfucker who did that, he's gone.
Right.
But when you see it and then you look over and you see the family suffering the way that you suffered, whether or not, they still lost a child. Whether you want it to be the good guy or the bad guy, that has nothing to do with it. They lost a child. And so for the little bit that I've read said that, that doesn't always happen. And then that's the part that I think would be even harder for the victim's family, because now, everything's done. There's nothing left, and you still feel empty. And I don't know. I don't even like saying it, but if I was to lose a child, I would. I don't think there's any way that I ever feel complete again. I would be empty. Right. These two boys of mine are like, this is. They're as much a part of me as my arms. I don't understand how it would kill you. I can't even really go into that conversation because I wouldn't even know how to describe it.
I tell you, man, flat out, I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Flat out, are you afraid of death?
No. I used to be.
I am, because I'm more scared of the not knowing what's next. And I don't care how many different stories I hear, what you ever tell me, no one knows. And my thing is this, none of us know when we're going to go. We don't know when, we don't know how. But I'm going, what is that like, the psyche of death row? When you know, hey man, tomorrow, this time, you're gone. What goes through your mind from the cycle of, like, let's say right now, it's whatever time it is. It's 3:00 right now in the afternoon. By noon tomorrow, gone. From 3 till noon, what the fuck are you thinking about?
See, when you said, are you scared of death? I'm not scared of death, but the process of death is something that I'm scared of. Like, we fly a lot, and I hate to say this because I know that you don't like when we talk about this kind of shit, but we fly a lot. What if you're in a plane and an engine goes, or there's something, and you have, I don't know how many seconds from 30,000 feet all the way to the end? That part's the worst part.
Let me tell you something, dude. I would often think about, I don't know how we get on subject a little bit, but I would often think about 9/11. And I would go, of course, they didn't know it until it happened. And maybe it's so quick, you don't. But the idea of being in a plane that crashes into a building from start to finish, what are you, flames, twisted metal, shit crushing you? it's probably over before you know it. But before you know it comes, something. You gotta see something.
Well, I think the crashing part would be bad. In 9/11, I don't think that any of them knew that that's what was going to happen, because when they did watch the news and they knew the planes were being used as basically bombs, that's the last one. The passengers attacked the crew because they knew that they weren't gonna.
Right.
That was their only option. Either way, they were going out. So all those other people, I think it happened so fast. I think it just folds. You fold into that building, and the engine blows, and I think you're gone before you know it. I would hope so, because I'm not afraid of what's next. Is what I should say. I don't like the idea, because I've had people around me that have passed from cancer, which I think is like that. If you can't,
that slow process.
That process. Oof. I mean, that would be great. I mean, as bad as it would be to be shot and killed.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't know it, I mean, as horrible as that sounds, man, at least you don't have to go through the I hate to say the drudgery of dying, but it just seems so much. I know, because you see old people that have not been healthy, and they're dying, and they're just looking forward to that moment when it's done, because this is just too painful. So, not trying to minimize anything, I just don't. The death part, it's the process that just sounds horrible.
I think episode 3 is the kid, right?
Yeah, that's the one where
the kid blows up in the house. And the guy's cooking drugs or something.
Yeah, and he leaves, and then a cigarette butt falls into the trash can, and there's an open container of I forgot what it was. What was there?
Flammable shit.
Yeah, it was.
And dude,
acetone. That's what it was.
The fact that they showed the kid
afterwards, but that is so necessary to build that character.
Oof,
because he goes. They put him in the bag, and then. When they find him, you know what it is because you see it, and then he goes. But when it's in the bag, and Jerry Renner goes, "Can I see the baby or the kid or however he says it?" And the guy goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Motivation."
Right.
That was
right.
That's so fucking.
Yeah.
That's badass scene.
Yeah, I'm queasy, so you could try to see the charred kid, but the teeth.
And then when they moved the head around.
And dude, when the guy that did it, when everybody's looking for him, and he's hiding out by Jeremy's office, Jeremy just pops the trunk, grabs the crowbar, smacks this guy, and then basically tells him, "Look, your only way out is to turn yourself in." But he tell him that by doing that, he wouldn't have to. He is less likely wouldn't be killed. But then somehow. He got killed in the most heinous way anyway. Because
they were supposed to arrest him and process him right then.
Right.
But then the guy at the desk, when they were trying, he's like, no, that's not happening like this. So he took him out so that he could be arrested and be put not into protective custody.
And when he went into regular population, 80 motherfuckers stabbed that dude. And then when he kind of looked like he got away from it, then I don't know what was in that pillowcase, but it reminds me of that movie, Bad Boys, the original, not with Martin and Lawrence and Will Smith, but with fucking, I forgot, the old...
Sean Penn?
Sean Penn.
Yeah.
And he beat up the dude with the pillowcase full of sodas. Then they hit him with that, and then when his back hit the ground, they started stabbing him again. Boy, I don't know where it got created, but that rule... where prisoners go, you fuck with kids, you're a dead motherfucker. That alone would make me go, I don't want to fuck with kids. Because if I go to jail, I'm target number 1.
Yeah.
Oof. I love it how people that commit murder and crime have a code.
But they talk about it throughout this. They know the code. There is a code.
Right.
But just because you're a convict or you're doing illegal shit doesn't mean there's not a code to the shit that you're doing.
Right. Yeah, I just love it because, dude, the people that you want, when you go, justice, I want justice. This show serves you the justice. It gives you what you want in that way.
Well, and when we just said that, though, too, about the code, there's a culture. And so if you're if you're in jail or prison, you learn that culture,
Right.
so that you don't get fucked up.
Yeah.
You have to learn that. I mean, if you're in the Boy Scouts, you're going to learn the Boy Scout culture. You're going to do things so that you
Right.
in jail and prison. And I mean, I talk about it a little bit. I want to make this clear. I only went to jail, and I'm not saying that.
And that was what I wanted to remind you when I kept going. Yo, he said something. You said, I forget what character, but somebody said something about there's a difference between jail and prison.
Oh yeah. Jail is it's the entry level. So I mean, there is a difference, and I went to the prison side once, and I think I told you this the other day. I had some dental surgery before I got there, and I got an infection when I was in jail, and they went and so they prescribed something for me, but it had to be on the prison side. It couldn't be on the other side where we were work release or when you were just in jail for a few weeks. So we go in there, and there's a difference, man. It's such a difference because you go through this partition. I had to go through this partition, and the guy that I knew, the guard, not the nicest guy, but not like an asshole. But we walk up to that door, and we're still talking. And as soon as that door opens, he doesn't say a word, and we go into this other thing. And I looked over, and it's not the same guy. Once we got through there, and we were in the prison, not the same guy at all. This dude was a different dude. And there is so when you're seeing, as we go through this, what we're talking about, where you're going to see the interaction with the guards.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it is. There's a definite interaction that these guys have this robotic face that they put on to get through this shit. And my sister's a guard at the she just retired. She was the guard at the jail. She was a sheriff, so she worked at the jail. She was a guard, and she talks about it. You know, there's a wall, there's a line, and no matter how nice the person is, no matter what they were in for, whatever, there's a line. And depending on where you are, prison, jail, however it goes, the line gets harder and harder, or more intense, I should say.
I love when the one guy with the suit was in Jeremy's office, and he said, "Pity is not much of a motivator." And Jeremy said, "Neither is money." And the guy goes, "Well, then you never had much." Yeah. I said, "I know that's right." I love that fucking.
But you know, there's some truth to that though. Also, when you break that down, once you have enough money, that means missing it can make you compromise who you are.
Right.
And that's a very good point because you never had enough. Well, you know, maybe that those things where the evils of money maybe are a little bit more true if you think about it that way. It can cause you to compromise a position that you might not have previously.
Dude, remember how you were saying in Ozark, you were like, "I hate the wife."
Yeah.
I hated the mother.
Oh, you did?
I hated the fucking mother. You know, just something about her just seemed like one, Mitch was her favorite. The other brother was her second favorite. She didn't really care for Jeremy. Always had a gloomy outlook, you know, death, you're going to die. Get out of that life. And, you know, the one when she smacked him and the mother just, I felt like you felt about the wife in Ozark. I wanted to punch that bitch.
I don't particularly care for her, and I don't think you're supposed to really like her, but she is the person who lost her husband, and Jeremy, obviously, as she describes it, reminds her the most of her husband. And she already lost the oldest son doing the same thing that the husband did. So she's very, she has a lot of pain. So you're dealing with her pain. You know who I don't like in this thing?
Oh,
is the guard, the one guard with the mustache. I don't want to give anything away towards you.
Pow.
Yeah.
Oh, we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Go back to the mother for a second. Do they live with this bitch or she lives with them?
I think she has her own place. Doesn't Jeremy have?
No. Jeremy lives in the woods.
Yeah.
But the younger brother, his other brother, him and his wife.
Yeah, they live with the mom.
They live with the mom.
Yeah.
Shit, that bitch would have to go.
But
Mom, you got to get your own spot.
But he gets along very well with her because that's the younger one. That's the baby. That's the one she's trying to protect from going down the path that Jeremy and the other brother, who's already passed, have gone away.
The girl, the stripper, when that dude, and again, when the guy said to her, the guy that kind of the owner of the strip club, just don't fuck up the face.
Yeah.
She goes into the room and he punches her in the stomach and proceeds to beat her up But her face, I went, damn. When he did the thing with her hand, with the hammer, and she's covering her mouth.
Yeah, and he says, don't yell.
I was like, damn. And again, justice, man food. I said, bitch, you better tell Jeremy. You better tell Jeremy. And she fucking, when he found out, he goes to the fucking club with his brother and that other cop, and they fucking stand guard. The way he kicked that stool from underneath that motherfucker and started hitting him with the butt of the gun. Yes!
The way he kicked that stool out, it almost looked to me like they were supposed to do this sequence, but it actually looks like he kicks the stool out and the guy really actually falls.
Right.
Because that's what the action in this, it isn't like packed with action. This isn't
it's not a Die Hard movie.
No, but it's the action that's in it.
Yes.
It's fucking good.
And it feels authentic based on the circumstance. That was a Dick Hard moment for me. But then the other one, once they sold the girl into the biker gang and they drugged her up and was fucking with her and I would assume raping her, like she had a choice. She was drugged up. And then they sold her off to the black dudes. And then the shootout happens and she ends up in the crib of the big black dude to wear the same outfit. And Jeremy comes to get her. And he drives back to the biker spot.
With her.
And she starts squirming in the seat. He goes, just as cool as a motherfucker. Is that him? Yeah, that's him. Pow! Right shoots through the fucking glass. Then gets out the car and shoots up the rest of the crew. Man, this... Mayor Kingstown, y'all.
Did you think that girl was good looking though? As a black guy,
no. But if I was a white dude, cute.
But she has that face that in certain shots she looks good.
Right.
But in other shots I was like, ooh.
Well, let me ask you this. Because clearly they established this almost brother-sister-like relationship between her and Jeremy. And I'm thinking the whole time at some point he's gonna fuck her. But they didn't really establish that. They even did the great moment where she wanted to lie with him. And they cut to him lying next to her, fully clothed, both of them. And she's just wailing, crying.
Yeah, she just needed someone to cry
to. And he's just there to accept it and be there for her. So I just thought, this was season 1. They didn't show them get involved. But I'm wondering by season 2 if they're going to get involved. Or if he's just going to maintain like this brother, I'm looking over my little sister thing. Because I like that dynamic.
I think they have to stay that way because I think that's a crossover for him. He crosses over to another line because he already drew the line.
Right.
He's already drawn that line and she is trouble. Regardless if he cares about how she was treated, he still knows that there's issues there.
Right.
It's not like he went, oh, well, she's good now.
Well, and I love that great moment. Sometimes it's the smallest moments that make the biggest noise when he goes, now this is paradise. And they drive over the little thing and the phone service dies because he lives in the woods. Like, this is my escape. This is my heaven. I'm away from the bullshit. No noise, no distractions. I just, those little details.
But it's a big moment too because he's bringing her into where he goes for his piece.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. So if we're there. Okay.
The finale.
Yeah, we're at the finale.
So this.
Oh, wait. We missed something though.
Oh.
And this is what made me love this show even more. Because I even said to you when I got here and I hadn't seen the episode and I go, yeah, but man, she still has that tracker in her.
Oh.
And I'm like, so they're going to, the other dude could still know where she is and all.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, just wait. And I was like, oh, they're going to get the tracker. Because that's something that they normally let go and it fucks it up for me.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know that I could take that pain. He literally takes the tracker out of her himself.
And he says to her, I got to put my weight on you. And it's in deep. It's going to hurt.
Yes, it's going to hurt.
She goes, I can take it. And he goes, it's going to hurt. And then you see it doing it. But what's cool is they say it's going to hurt and they don't do all this and making her face and having her scream. They just, she has that thing in her mouth that she's biting on.
Right.
And you just, the way they do it, it's almost like sometimes I love when they go a little bit more minimal. Instead of making everything so dramatic, it comes out much stronger. It has more of a
dude. And then, dude, the fuck now. now we're at the part, the crescendo. And I said to Andy, dude, this fucking ending, where the prisoners take over the jail. And I thought to myself, dude, I wanted to punch that warden so bad. Because the fucking guards was telling him, we need to lock it down. And he didn't want to do it. Let's know we got to negotiate. And when the prison got taken over, I was like, you motherfucker, that's your fault. The guards were telling you, lock it down. And you chose to go the other way.
But here's the thing, though. They're saying to lock it down because they know why they're going to take over the prison. The guards knew why, because they didn't hold up to their end of the bargain. The one guard that I can't stand. He didn't hold up his end of the bargain. So he knows that. The warden doesn't know that there's some side deal that they had to kill that.
Right.
So that's why the warden is kind of out, and the other guys are going, you're an idiot. They're going to take over. This is what they do. And he was right. He just didn't know that the guards, and this is what we talk about here sometimes as well, the biggest gang
is the guards.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but when you say that, the biggest gang, like that's a bad thing. They're in there with murderers and rapists.
I'm not saying that, but but you're still a gang. And you got to.
But you don't think you have to be under those circumstances?
I think you definitely have to be. You definitely have to be, but you don't have to. But here's the thing: if you want a peaceful situation, don't you want to feed the people that are in there decently?
How about when they serve that dude his own shit? Oof.
You're asking for it, but that's why I was like, I'm going to be real honest. That when the guard got taken out, the guard who really caused all this from the beginning,
right?
And it's hard to say caused it because they're already, and they address this so well. These are prisoners. These are people who've done something to be there. They're not accidental tourists in this. They are there for a reason. But you still, and he explains it. I'm still a human though. Like when the guy,
I'm gonna tell you, man. I hear that, and technically, yes. But when you murder, rape, break the law, hurt people, hurt families, I'm sorry, man. I don't feel that for you.
But you don't think that you still deserve it? I'm not saying steak dinners, but I like food that doesn't look contaminated.
Like they should eat the pizza we just ate.
That pizza's rough. We had a pizza here in OKC, and Aries ordered it. I'm gonna put this on you. Every piece of the pizza tasted exactly the same. Whether it was
we had a meat lovers. We had bacon, sausage, ham, and it all tasted like one meat.
And it didn't, but none of those meats qualify for the taste of it. It was just meat taste.
Yes.
And not mozzarella, like fake mozzarella on the top of all of it.
And then as I walked from my room to Andy's room, I saw the dude that delivered it. I swear there's some jizz on that pizza, nigga. That motherfucker just looked like he had a record.
I hope I got the right piece then, not the piece with it. Cause he was very squirrely. He was a little squirrely at the door.
Dude, when, and then, listen, I would imagine that if you're a prison guard, that's your worst nightmare.
Oh,
that the inmates get guns and take over. Cause the dude that he ended up, the one you can't stand, he ended up blowing his head off. Even before that, when they had him pinned and they had the fucking club up against his neck, I thought he was going to kill him right there.
Yeah, obviously he had other purpose.
Right. And I just went, oh my God, if you're that guard and you done pissed that nigga off, and now as they say, it ain't so much fun when the rabbit has the gun, and now the rabbit has the gun and he's looking you in your face, you're going to die. What's going to stop you, help you? But here's what I love. And this again, justice, man, food. The one character, I don't know his name, but the one who shot the guy that killed Mitch, the head guy of the SWAT unit.
Oh yeah.
I love him because his team, his crew was we gonna get shit done, kick ass and take names crew.
They're just the bottom line guys.
They're about the business. And when the younger brother got maced and the one cop with the bald head, and it was the two of them underneath the prison trying to stay alive and survive. And at one point, they're pinned in a corner and they see all these inmates coming towards them with the guns and shit. And the bald dude says, I'm gonna take a few of you bastards with me. And then the bad guy said something.
Like, I'm only good, only a few.
Only a few. And I'm on the edge of my bed going, no. Burp, burp, burp. And that crew shot them motherfuckers to hell.
That aren't even supposed to be
They
there.
aren't even supposed to be there and rescue them. I said, God damn it. This is man shit.
Now, the whole time we did this, though, we didn't even bring up the character the girl follows that is central to this. What is he? Not Russian. What do they get? Slavic? What do they say?
The hooker.
Yeah, but what's the boss's name? The one that's in prison.
Oh, right. I know who you're talking about. Starts with an M.
Yeah. Now he got away.
Right.
And it was circumstance that he happened to be out there, and he helps the guys overtake the prison because he knows how the keys work.
Right.
But I love that he goes back while everybody else is fighting. He finds the
uniform
because he knows what the people in the prison have to know. They're not going to get out of this.
Right.
There's no way you win this.
Right.
But there's a point to be made.
Well, you brought me to this point. If you know as a prisoner, you ain't getting out. They're gonna bring in tanks, which they did. Fucking snipers. Why are you doing this?
Life sentence.
You're gonna die.
But you got a life sentence. You're gonna die either way in there. So what's and this is the scariest thing. And I would love if we had someone who, even my sister, like I should ask her about this. When you have to deal with people that have a life sentence that know they're never going to go out, what do they have to lose? They have.
Wouldn't you want to prolong your life as much as possible?
But what do you have to lose?
Your life.
Yeah, but your life is in there anyway. I mean, take a chance. Maybe my life will be a little bit better. If it's not, then I don't get anything. But I mean, you're in there. I'm saying I think that has to be, there's some freedom to the person knowing that they're never going to get out of there as far as how far you can push that person. That's the most dangerous person in that prison. What does he have to lose?
And I love, we forgot to mention this, I love how they intercut between both prisons, the male prison and the female prison. Well,
that's such an important part too. That's because the guy who originally, all this gets started really because of the one guy,
right? And
how he gets taken out. And we're not sure. We're giving you a synopsis of the story, but leaving enough there so if you watch this, you still have plenty in there. But the way he gets taken out.
Oh, dude, let me tell you. And them women in them prisons, they ain't dimes, nigga. They a bunch of Shirley Hemphill and some Rosie O'Donnells. But that one chick, I might have threw it a pipe, nigga. The one that killed the guard with the pencil in the neck.
You would be the dude with the pencil in your neck.
I know. I wouldn't have done it knowing that they told me, hey man, don't let these bitches fool you.
Yeah.
But
my sister has said this to me, that the women are the worst.
Really?
She'd rather be on the men's side because when we talk about the cult, like having a culture, having a code, the women's code, I don't know if it exists or if it's just a different kind of code, and it's different. My sister knows doesn't mean that she likes every dude that's liking is doesn't know that she doesn't trust any of them because anything can happen. But she kind of understands what their momentum, how they're moving through this is different than the women.
Right.
And, we talked about this a little bit before, but when men do work off of a code, but when women break that emotional connection to being a woman, being of the earth, being a spiritual, or I don't use a lot of words to try to describe what I want, but women are usually connected to this earth a little bit more emotionally than men are. And when that's broken, women are the scariest people on this earth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when she did that thing where she was in the bed naked, and when he came to look in her cell, she's showing him her pussy and all of that. And then, yeah. I mean, listen, if I know after seeing that, hey man, all pussy is off limits. Don't fuck around. But if I had never seen that and I was a guard, I'd have been like, I don't know, nigga. Because she was a cutie, man.
Well, obviously, somebody's given, we didn't even bring this up because of the beginning of the episode. But I will bring it up now. And this is dumb here, but you did hear about the transsexual that was in the prison, the women's prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
and she was a former male, and because the way that we look at, they put them in the regular the female
still have a
population.
dick?
Obviously, he got 2 of them pregnant.
Well, you know what? There's an upside to everything.
So but the point was, fucking around happens in prison. However, they figure
Right.
out it to happen. But yeah, there you go.
I wonder, do the women have that same code as the men about child molesters?
I'm sure that they do. I don't know. I think that's on the universal one. I think that's covered universally.
Did you want to see the main black guy in the jail, the one that got fed his shit? Did you want to see him die as bad as I did?
The which one?
The one that was the black guy that was the main black guy in the credits with the no shirt. He was the one in the prison. They tried to feed him the shit.
Oh yeah. Did I want to say? Oh yeah. Oh, the one that. Yeah.
He finally got, when he got sniped in the head.
But that was his goal.
To die?
Yeah. He knew he wasn't going to make it out of there.
Yeah, I wanted to see him die too.
But I listen, man. When this isn't about liking his character, but this is about liking the writing.
Right.
Liking when he goes, "I'm about to create my Picasso," because he and he shoots the dude in the head.
Yes.
I was like, that's a fucking cold line right there. Like, because he has to know what's going to happen. He didn't think that it was, but it's funny because he said, make sure you tell him what's going to happen and what's going on. And he didn't give him time to get out of there.
That reminds me of that moment, which is similar to that in Man on Fire, when Christopher Walken tells the guy, some people are artists. Some people are artists with paintings. Some people are artists with food. Greasy is artist death. Yes. Yes.
And that's how I put it together, man. It was pretty intense. The one part, I forgot to bring this up because you said this in the beginning, going back to the very beginning, the first episode, when he agrees to, basically take over his brother. And I said that there felt to me like there was a nod to The Godfather there when The Godfather takes,
when he closed the door.
Yeah. There's just good scenes in this whole way through. And,
yes.
And if you have the time, and I've told Aries, when I called Aries and said, I don't always agree with you on this, but if you have the time, man, if you can get it done, it's a lot of episodes because it's 10 episodes. 10. So, if you could do a 5 and a 5, if you could do 5 and 5, it's worth it.
You mean back-to-back days, 5 and 5?
Yeah.
I think you will do, if you really got some time or you make the time, you do all 10.
I know, you could.
I did 8. And then I did the other 2 the next night because I just got sleepy. But I did 8 in a row, man. Mayor of Kingstown, y'all. I tried to I got all my apps on my PlayStation, but I couldn't for some reason get Paramount. So I bought it from Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I have that Paramount Plus because the offer that we're going to do too. I got it for that. That offer, man, I'm telling you, I can't wait till you see it. I don't know, maybe it could be, and the reason I feel I really want your opinion, and I can't wait till we do this, is because I don't know if it's my love for the Godfather movie,
right,
or just the nostalgia of what they're talking about, and then, but I just can't wait till we get into this. I really am enjoying this, and the acting in this is also awesome. So,
okay, so I'm gonna say these, and you tell me where it falls: Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Wire, Mayor of Kingstown. Where is that in your order?
Man, it's a tough order because those are all good shows. I had never got through all of The Wire.
Okay, so throw The Wire out. Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Mayor of Kingstown.
It's hard to say at this point because it's only one season, but right now it's 3.
It's 3. So it's Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and Mayor of Kingstown? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what constitutes these shows getting a second season, because it feels like this is the final season of City on the Hill, which Mookie, I think somebody sent me. It comes on July 24th, but this is the 3rd and final season. And it felt like these seasons took a long time to come out.
Well, we had COVID in the middle of it. So
for shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Ozark. And I wonder what like, you know what I'm saying? Because with Netflix and a lot of these things, it's subscriptions.
Right.
So what is it that makes them go, this is worth it for us financially to bring this back?
I think they just look at the numbers, and I think it has a lot to do with the social media content that goes out there too, what people are saying about it. But I'm gonna like these. I like these kind of one season things too, but I don't know how many of those are going to be. Like,
Please, y'all. I'm with it. Y'all got me. Y'all got me.
But this is a film. Like I said, this could have been a film. This could have been a 3 or 4 hour film if
Right.
they wanted to do it this way, that way. But
Right.
I like the series is where the market is right now because people aren't watching regular network television, so they're
Right.
they're turning to this, and the market's for it. But people will get into it. But man, if they put out too many, how do you watch them if all of a sudden you have 10? Because there's some that I would like to see, but they keep falling backwards because I don't have time for them. But what happens if there's like 10 of these things that you want to watch all of them?
Like 10 different series?
Yeah, you can't. Then how are you gonna? That's 10 bags of chips. That's a lot. It's getting complicated.
You
to watch
gotta
this.
make room. Take off your pants and your boxers. Be completely naked and make room. Watch them on the toilet so as you eat, you shit, and you can keep feeding yourself.
Because I haven't even seen the Disney Plus stuff that's come out. There's new stuff on Disney.
You know, a
Plus.
lot of that stuff on Disney Plus doesn't move me.
I like it, man. I
You like
it.
all the Obi-Wan, the new Obi-Wan?
I haven't seen the new one. That's why I want to see it. Did you try to watch some of it?
Dude, I'm telling you, my Star Wars geekdom peaked at Return of the Jedi. Like I said, I tried the prequel Phantom of the Menace, the Sith or whatever the fuck it was.
I didn't like the new Star Wars. I
think that turned me so off. And then even the other ones I tried to watch with the black dude, Boyega, or him. I just don't care anymore.
There's some of the. I think some of the things that they're doing are really good.
Right.
Not all of them I'm going to fall in love with, but some of them are really good.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you need too much. You need all that extra sauce on it.
No, I don't. I just, there's a level of, again, geekdom. I'm about to mix up the songs, but Star Wars.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know.
Dude, you're getting very musical though these days.
A little bit.
Even in your sets, you've been very musical.
Yeah, I'm just not a geek like that, man. Those characters don't do for me what they give other niggas chubbies and woodies. They don't do that for me.
I think they're all worth watching. I have not seen the new Doctor Strange though in the theater.
I want to see that. I'm saving it to when it's downloadable.
But I heard it wasn't
that good.
That's what I heard. But I mean, I haven't read reviews or anything on it. That's just from
Right.
some people that I've heard from said it was eh.
Really?
But I did not like the Doctor Strange comics. I was never a Doctor Strange.
I never was a Doctor Strange guy at all. My introduction to Doctor Strange was from the Marvel movies.
Well, I thought they did a great job, so I'm really disappointed if it's not great. But I
I like
see it.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's cool.
Yeah, that's a name, man.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah. I'm gonna put my Benedict in your Cumberbatch. All right.
Should I tell everybody where we are?
Yes, as I'm looking for.
It's Stress Fair. Okay. So we're in, when you're listening to this, that should be Wednesday the 8th. It comes out. We'll be at Tommy T's that weekend from the 9th through the 12th. Tommy T's in Pleasanton, California. I found out recently. Are you fucking kidding me?
Just a bit outside Cleveland.
We're almost all the way through it, and you had
That
to do
pizza, nigga.
well, then if it's like the pizza, it's not going to have any smell to it because that pizza had no
Exactly.
flavor. The 16th through the 18th of June, I will be at CB Live in Phoenix. There you go, guys. Aries you taking that whole week off, huh?
Am I? You're not. Which week is that?
That's the week of 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, Father's Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
You're off.
Yeah.
Aries is going to be celebrating Father's Day.
All alone.
I'm going to go see my kid. I'm in there so I can go see my kids. The 24th, the 26th of June, will be at the Tacoma Comedy Club. That's the same guys that we're here at their OKC club. Great clubs, man. This Bark Entertainment knows what they're doing. I'm enjoying their clubs. Then we're going to be the 30th, June 30th through July 2nd. We'll be at the Jacksonville Comedy Zone. If I want to follow up with that. Oh, yeah. And then the following week after that, that will be July 7th through the 10th. We're going to be at the Irvine Improv. Looking forward to there. Haven't been in California's been hard to get back to since not everything's open.
I wish they all could be California. girls. I don't know if I'll get to this email. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But somebody had wrote something and said to me about me singing and said it was awful. Fuck you, nigga. It ain't supposed to be award winning. I ain't no goddamn singer. But I sang, nigga.
They get mad at your singing?
Yeah, this one dude, he was like, man, singing is unbearable. Nigga, fuck you. I don't think this is a musical guest. I guess this guy has a podcast. So he just sent me his info so you can check him out. Y'all, YouTube at Manny Griggs, MannyGriggs. Instagram at Manny Griggs, same thing. Twitter at Greer, Greer _EMMANUEL. And on TikTok at Manny Griggs. So y'all go check out Manny Griggs and support his podcast. Did you know I started a second podcast, right? With Gerard?
No, I thought
I didn't tell you?
No. I knew you did it with Neri.
Yeah, no, I did it with Vlad through Vlad TV.
Neri's going to be really upset now.
No, he knows because in one of the here's how Vlad does it too. He does it different though. How we and most people come out with a week-to-week episode. With Vlad, we shot 2 hours, and he just breaks them up into 7 to 9 minute segments, and puts one out like each week. And then once he plays all the segments, he then puts out one video, which is the whole time unchopped up. So I did it with comedian Gerard Giro, and I mentioned both you and Neri when I was explaining about how black people said I refuse. Local black comics said I refuse to work with black comedians and put black comedians on. And I responded to that, and I was like, prior to Andy Steinberg, prior to Neri Signs, there was Gerard. So the new podcast is called the number 2 NWO, Two Niggas with Opinions.
There you go.
Yeah. Available on Vlad TV, so y'all make sure y'all check that out. There we go.
Is that it?
That is it. One more again. Shannon, we love you. Rest in peace, baby.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.